Alrighty, welcome back to an Easter long weekend episode of Hit the Gap podcast. Long weekend of football. It's Monday today. We've got one game to go yet. We're doing the podcast a little bit early, but just due to time constraints, we're going to skip the Spoon Bowl of last year or years gone, which actually might be a decent game this year. I was going to say,
it's probably far from a Spoon Bowl this year.
Eels and Tigers both leveled up somewhat since Spoon Bowl days, but how has your Easter weekend of football been, man?
Man, filled with barbecues, that's for sure. Barbecues almost every day. But I reckon, tell you what, it's been a sensational round of football so far. A lot of unexpected ones again. Tipping does not make sense anymore. Tipping does not make sense. It doesn't make sense
already, and we're in round 5, so.
Yeah, it's beyond me, unfortunately, but I'll tell you what, we've had some interesting games nonetheless. Masterstroke from Foz. We've had the collapse of Serraldo, maybe you could call it.
Almost Bellamy as well.
Yeah. Bellamy in all sorts. We've got Flano in all sorts. It's the week of the coach killer, that's for sure.
Yep. Rugby Leaguers has risen, but coaching careers being crucified.
Crumbling.
Yeah. So, which we'll probably touch on a little bit later more so there, but no better game to start off with in regards to that anyway, but Manly and the Dolphins. Now, Manly purging their coach during the week, actually. So it was
sensational.
Sort of, just after that loss, and they sacked old Seibold. Seibold's once again looking for another coaching gig, and appointing Kieran Foran, the assistant coach, or one of the assistant coaches, as the interim head coach. And what the fuck? They've come out and beaten the Dolphins 52 points to 18. And I didn't get to watch the whole game because I was on the plane back home from work, but when I tuned in, I didn't tip Manly. I mean, who would have? But, I was quite surprised, really. Everyone just, I don't know, all guns blazing. Everyone firing turbo, seeming to have a game of his career. Gerbo coming out and absolutely killing it. Yeah.
This one, for me, I did watch this whole thing. Now, it does say 1852. I know that's what it says. But you may as well say that it was like 6:52.
52-0 almost.
Nearly 52-0, honestly.
Yep.
They didn't really actually turn the gas on until probably about 75th minute, I think it was, around there.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, the only person who was actually playing in this game
Herbie
was probably Hammer. Even Herbie was quiet until he decided that on the second try that Hammer was going to go for. He was like, okay, I'll have a run then. So it was very much so like no one wanted to be there. I felt so bad for the fans. It was the hardest part, really. The whole thing was
actual home game.
First actual Redcliffe game. Yeah. It was just
at KO Stadium. Tough one to turn out and watch at Redcliffe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, from the bits I did see, I didn't see the whole thing, but bits I did see, it just seemed like Manly were just on. And I know the Dolphins haven't been the best so far this year. Probably a bit of a far cry from what we saw last season as of yet. But I don't know. Just very confusing, very shocking to me.
Look, as much as I would want to also pin a lot of this, like I'd really like to pin Grant Atkins on some things that he did in this game too. I can't excuse how poor the Dolphins were in terms of their discipline. I really can't.
Yeah.
He was probably a little excessive in the way of like, Nicarima threw the shoe away and whatnot.
Sportsmanlike conduct.
It was very excessive, the amount of penalties that were going out.
Yeah.
But you can't refute them.
Yeah.
They were just so poor. So I as much as I'd like to have a rip into Grant, I'll spare him this week because, quite frankly, the Dolphins
probably wouldn't have changed too much, right?
I really don't think so. Not with the way that Manly was attacking. Like, their attack was just so on. Like, we saw what the Raiders are currently missing from Vogarty, basically.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that one. It was a Manly thumping.
It was, yeah. And a miraculous change of form or 180-degree switch up of form the week before we play them, unfortunately. But hopefully it was just a one-off. The boys got together for Foz, but a great result for Foz for the first game as head coach anyway, interim head coach. So could be things to come. Could be.
Did they just really not like Seabolt?
Yeah,
because
I don't know. I mean, DCE.
That was not the same team I saw for the last 4 weeks.
Yep,
it was not the same team.
Their long-standing clubman DCE got out, and they'd been absolutely eating it all season up until now. So maybe, who knows? Could have been a direct correlation, but yeah, you're right. It does almost seem like they had a go for Foz. The Friday games, but we'll jump on and have a look. Good Friday clashes. We had Rabbitohs up against the Bulldogs there at a core stadium, and Rabbitohs coming away with the win, 32 points to 24. It's another one where, I don't know, the Dogs probably, it's a bit closer than what the game actually was, you know what I mean?
They could have won this, and this is entirely on Ciraldo.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah, there was a very odd switch up there where Critter went off, and instead of putting in a like-for-like centre, or at least a strike centre that probably could have replaced him, he switched up the whole dynamic by pushing Galvin to 6, putting Sean O'Sullivan on at 7, and then Burton out to the centre position, which again we've seen a couple times, something similar, but maybe more a sign of things to come. But yeah, I don't know, it just did not pay off at all.
I think this is just more a snubbing of Jerry. Yeah. I think this is more as a snubbing of Jerry. They've got beef, big time.
Yeah.
They've definitely got beef. And it's almost like he's picked Jerry to put on the bench and hamstring himself just to spite him. Because, I mean, it was a perfect scenario where you could have put Jerry in, and you probably could have even won the game, because let's be honest, the points that they leaked were as a result of Burton playing poorly in that role, you know, and it's because he's not used to it. So you could have had a better defensive option in Jerry in that spot and forced the Rabbits to go and work something else out, and in time probably still beat them.
Yeah.
I think this game was 100% down to Ciraldo's poor coaching, not necessarily as a result of him coaching poorly, but just as a result of him just deciding poorly and being petty instead.
Yeah, that decision was probably a bit... Well, one that, I don't know, maybe he might regret, I don't know, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, I can get it from one perspective of you're putting Galvin back at his natural position at 6 or whatever, but I don't know. Why wouldn't you be doing that anyway, sort of thing?
Exactly. You can do that. You can do that before the game happens anyway, if you really wanted to.
Why wouldn't you be doing that anyway instead of switching everything up completely? So, anyway, who's to know? I'd say anyway on the Jerry thing, if he gets picked again, maybe in the reserves, but also doesn't get a run again this week coming, then that's probably a bit of a sign of things to come there, or how things really are. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we chalk it up just to a bit of a lapse in judgment, or just the wrong decision on that one there. But I think a second time, if something similar were to happen, now that Critter is out, we know he's out or he's missing weeks.
Team list is going to be very interesting tomorrow.
Yeah, if he's not there, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. But not to take away from the Rabbitohs, I think Humphreys had a pretty good game in this one as well. And once again, I'll troll him it. Tallis Duncan as well, I think, had a very solid game. He's been quite good this year to start the year off, and he's continuing that form. But one of the Rabbitohs' best, I think, for sure. And Jai Gray.
Jai Gray for me was the big one. Yep. Even before, entirely before he went off, obviously. But he is a special fullback, man, and it is nice having someone like Latrell being able to still fall back into fullback as a last ditch sort of thing.
Yeah.
But my God, Jai Gray is a fantastic fullback, and I think seeing Latrell being able to play off Alex Johnson on that side of the field has honestly made their attack so multi-dimensional now. They're a big threat. They're a big threat as a result. So I mean, thank God they've not opted to put Latrell at the fullback. So that's a masterstroke from Bennett again, really. But
yeah, and he's probably pretty set there now at centre, right? Latrell, he might still want to play fullback,
it's got to be
after the few times he'd been there last year and starting the season this year and just seeing how it works. I think it's probably what's best for the team, and yeah, I can't see him arguing too much with that because, well, they've got a good success rate so far to start the season. So
I mean, he's putting on points again, man. Like he's the attack is working around him better in center as fullback.
Yeah,
at this point, screw the fullback money, bro. Just enjoy your game.
Yeah,
Get back into your footy.
Yeah, that's it. And the second game, Panthers versus the Storm, and I mean, probably picked Panthers, or most people probably picked Panthers, but hoped for a bit of a Storm resurgence because they're not, usually known for losing multiple games in a row, but unfortunately this one proved just a bit too much for them. Panthers 50 points to Melbourne's 10 was, I don't know, a tough watch.
Put a line through them, mate.
Yeah, it's another one, another team.
Wow. If you told me we're putting a line through the Storm in round 5, I'd tell you to fuck off.
I mean, against the Panthers and how the Panthers have started this season is probably the one saving grace for that there, but Melbourne nonetheless, like it's been a horror start to the year, and this game in particular, I don't know, was just really, really rough in my opinion.
The thing is, I don't really know what a stint in reserves does for any of the players that Bellamy is threatening to put in reserves.
He's already got reserve players playing in a few positions.
Yeah,
so,
I don't really know what he plans to do regarding that side of things with that hollow threat. But I mean, I think that there's just so many things that just aren't working in that team at the moment. From a defensive perspective, and normally that's what the Storm do very well.
Yeah.
They normally are very good at defending those multiple sets and then just grinding you down. It's sort of similar to what the Panthers are like, except the Panthers have the attack as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bellamy does here. I'm happy with really. Actually, what was I unhappy with? I think Warbrick's defense was pretty piss poor.
Average, yeah.
Pretty piss poor.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's just because he's, obviously the announcement that he's gone to the Wars. I don't know. That was really odd from Warbrick that he played like that.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, he put a lot of points on last week, but defensively, I don't think he was that great still. I mean, when he played us, the Cowboys, up here last week, he was scoring points at least, but yeah, the defense was still a bit average, but this one was just... Yeah, I don't know. It was tragic to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, I do feel for him in a sense because he's up against Jenkins. But yeah, I mean, it's not really much of an excuse still, right? Like,
yeah, I think Jenkins and McLean sort of clowned him quite a bit,
big time.
I think they swapped Bonner and Warbrick and the young guy Mania Watare. I'm not too sure if that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry, but in the center they're filling in for Moses Leo. And honestly, even if Leo was there instead, I think it would have still. I
think they still score
the same defensive lapses. Yeah,
because Leo, his strong point in the first 3 games was his attack. His defense was still poor in those games. Mm-hmm. He still leaked points. So like I don't know where they go with that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough ride this year for the Storm. Maybe.
I think so.
If they're against a team that has like ridiculous defense and they can't get any go forward off Grant.
Yep.
Where do they go,
Yep.
No one else is making the move without Grant making the move first.
Yep, and we sort of said it earlier on, too, in the year, like, it had started out as Penrith, and still is Penrith and then daylight between the next best team, but now it's like days worth of daylight, which is unfortunate.
Light years.
We've seen that. You don't know, like, it's hard to say who the next best team is at the moment as well, so... Yeah, very, very rough one. They're not taking anything away from the Panthers. They've obviously been great, and we're back to Panther Bowl or... Panther Rugby League, the Panther Premiership once again, another year of dominance. But there you go, exactly. Yeah, but just so hard, and I don't think anyone would have really taken it to him much more. But yeah, just very odd for Melbourne. Melbourne at the moment, they're in a very big slump, so unsure what they're going to do there. Thomas Jenkins, though, again, I think only player or first player maybe in the club history to score at
12-5.
At least a double in the first 5 rounds, and 12 tries in 5 games is pretty insane. So
2 tries a game plus 4 in 1. That's
crazy.
That's a stat.
Crazy.
That's a damn stat.
So we'll jump on to, because I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more in the next few rounds of Panthers domination, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jump on to the Saturday games. This one was one, do love the result, but also probably a little bit unexpected. Dragons versus Cowboys, and Dragons failing to fire a single shot.
And speaking of records, first time they've gone 0-5 in over 10 years.
Another one. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, this is tough. This is a tough one to watch. If you're a Dragons supporter.
Yeah.
If you're a Cow supporter, you're fist pumping.
Yeah.
But
hey man, I'm a Cows supporter, and I found it hard to listen to them getting booed off at halftime. that was rough.
Yeah. I mean, geez, if you watch the presses in this one, it was pretty rough. Fleno looks terrified.
Yeah.
Fleno looked just like a ghost.
Someone who needs a lot of answers, but just doesn't seem to have any answers at the moment.
And no one's willing to give him them either.
Yeah, so. I don't know. Again, whether maybe it's a little bit similar to Seabold. He's just not getting... I don't know, it can't be, because they didn't start that first round, wasn't too bad, and last year, albeit they didn't win that many games, they were only losing very marginally. It was slim. I don't want to say he's lost the team by any means, and it's probably a bit too early to say that, but yeah, like, what the fuck was that?
I mean, look, for me, there's a lot of glaring issues, right? Like, none of the halves combinations that he has, whether it's the ones he's playing actively, his bench players, or his reserves, have any combinations, which is strange. None of his halves combos work. The only side of the field that seems to be willing to work is his left stand side. He's refusing to play Tyrell Sloan, who's the bulk of their points scored over the last over the last year. And even when Tyrell played, he got given one glimpse of gameplay, last week I think it was?
Yeah,
one opportunity. He scored.
Yep.
It's
still dropped for defensive lapses or whatever the reason was.
Yeah, well, they keep saying defensive lapses, but what is the difference when you just play another winger who has even more defensive lapses?
Yeah, or you debut a young guy. Yeah,
why ruin a young bloke's confidence just for you? It feels like another pettiness situation, I think there's an issue with him and Tyrell, and he's just keeping Tyrell off the field because he can.
Yeah.
It's the same with Sorrelder and Jerry, really. I don't know the answer for that. I think Laika King Tonga actually has a good chance of being a good half. If he gets more game time and stays in the spot and doesn't get injured.
Yeah.
But it's not an immediate answer either. I think he's still going to lose many, many games before that works, or he finds something that works.
Probably needs a halfback as well, not to shit on Kyle, but just like a experienced older halfback or something. Maybe a little bit similar to what happened with Dearden and Townsend, for example. Just a guide.
More of a mentor.
Yeah, mentor, guide to come in and, hey, this is how I do it, or how it's usually done, or whatever. This is what you can do, and then you find your game from there. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I don't believe Shane or his son are the answer. In that club,
yeah,
I really don't. I think Kyle is probably one of the ones, in my opinion, who needs to go and find himself a club away from Dad, for one.
Yeah,
and then for two, with a leading half that can help steer him around the park and let him play his natural game and teach him.
Yeah, because he's when he started at the Roosters and whatnot, it was good. It was great. And then through whatever, I think he got fucked over a little bit at the Roosters. Got a bit of blame put on him for a bad patch of form, and then got sent to the Dogs. Didn't get really given much of a go. Got given a go and did all right. And then ended up here and, just in a a situation where, I don't know, you're right, it just doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah. I also think that maybe the team doesn't really play to Kyle's strengths either very well. I think we could probably spend a pretty significant time on the Dragons. I just think that none of their halves combos are very, very good at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long the amount of practice would be needed to make them good. And definitely not long enough. There's not long enough time available for them before I think Shane gets the boot.
Yeah.
So
Surely there's like some sort of, I don't know, Gutho to 6 maybe attempt. Give Gutho a shot at 6 and then maybe put Sloan to fullback. I don't know.
Even Gutho feels lost at fullback, hey?
Yeah.
It really does. His defense at fullback has been what's crazy to me, because that's probably the craziest thing at Parramatta.
Yeah.
His defense as a fullback was insane.
Yeah.
He was part of the reason why Parra was staying like afloat in most games.
Mm-hmm.
If there was no Gutho there, they would have been like a foregone conclusion spoon every week. Sort of thing,
Yep.
But
Yep.
I think to not bully the Dragons too much, because I'm sure we could bully them for a lot. The positives to this game, we saw great things from the Cowboys' attack firing.
Yeah,
Clifford
100%.
once again having another fantastic game.
Yep.
Scott Drinkwater again having another fantastic game.
Yep.
I really, really did like the shifting, the way that they would shift very fast. As soon as they'd keep it in the middle for very little amounts of time and shift it straight out, and I loved that.
Yep.
It really put them on the back foot constantly and forced Gutho to work, and he couldn't keep up with it.
Yep.
So, that was probably one of the better things I saw about Cows as well.
Yeah, Clifford, I think for me, Clifford, Purdue, and Burns, all three. I mean, I think Burns has been re-signed, but been one of our best this season so far, if not the best. But Clifford's close second, if not right up there. Just maybe one pretty average game or whatever, which the whole team were that great in, but one of the most consistent so far, I think. Another one we need to put pen to paper, and if this hasn't proved that he's in good contention to hold that 6th spot for at least this year and show us what he can do again for another year, I don't know.
And the thing for me, right, like, we're seeing how good Clifford is playing in this role.
Yeah.
We're seeing that, but it's sort of almost almost overshadowing how good Purdue is at the centers as well. Still,
yeah, still doing like quite well when he gets his opportunities.
The amount of times he got on the outside of people in that Dragons game was
burnt him,
just burnt them.
Yeah,
like it just.
I think there were two attempts in maybe like couple minutes. It was right at the end of the game there where he made an error and he kicked the ball and it come off the wrong side of the foot. Instead of going to Marnie or whatever. But same play, just right down the sideline and burnt all the defenders. It took literally Gutho to get there and get in his way. I think it was Gutho anyway, to make him kick or force him to kick sort of thing. So yeah, just very, very useful. And talking about, strike and speed there, I think Chester on the other centre spot, another one. That combo,
he's been instrumental.
That combo is great, I think. So, I think he's come back in a good sort of patch of form there. Chester's one I think we probably need to, as much as I like Labart, I think Labart maybe takes a seat in this instance. And then we've got Viliami Valea as well, who don't know when he's fit to come back just yet, or if he is already fit to come back. But probably another one who at the moment maybe just needs to take the back seat for the moment and see what they can do with what they've got, because I think they've been very good in the centre spot this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, touching on Drinkwater, definitely. I think he's finding his way back to form again, which is good. The next Saturday game, though, the Derby, Queensland Derby, after getting a touch-up from the Cowboys recently, Titans now getting a touch-up from the Broncos. I say touch-up, but I mean 14 points isn't massive considering all things considered. Yeah, all things considered, it wasn't massive. Campbell, probably another game where it just stands out to me. Campbell is their man there, and Kinney's their fullback. I think that's probably how it's got to be. Brimson in the centres. I don't know how that goes long term or whatever, but I think they found at least their halfback and their fullback, they can lock in the Titans.
I do think they got dudded a little bit in this game. I think the bad penalty that they got after half time, where they had momentum, was a bit of an unfortunate one, because I think that this game is a lot closer if that wasn't an incorrect penalty. It was a forward pass. I think it might have been
Brimson's one? Yeah, the Brimson try, which was...
the Brimson try disallowed,
Which was travelling backwards in any instance and any angle you look at, but got called forward.
Made no sense to me. Like I think they get a roll on the Bronx there if that happens, especially with all the injuries.
Well, they were, that's right. To lead to that try, they did. Yeah. They did have a bit of momentum getting to it, yeah.
And fair play, the score is not even this close if Katoni could kick, but
true, yeah. But, they're probably lucky in that sense, but yeah.
I feel like the Titans are actually getting kind of close to being able to scratch the surface of something special. I think they're going to need more time together now, but I agree. I think they've got it worked out with the halves.
Yep.
Or at least the spine in general.
Yeah.
And I think if they just keep pushing with that, it'll actually come out okay.
Yep. Arama Howe too, another one from the Titans. But just before we move on, who I think has had another great game as a young dude coming in. He's just had a series of good games, and he's only improving. So that's another positive for him there moving forward. But Broncos just too good, and not without their own issues in this game. The Broncos, I mean, geez, they've lost. Hunt played through it, but they've lost Hunt to a knee issue, I think.
This shocked me.
Yeah, he played through the game, but this is like a decent problem. I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks at least.
He's going to be out for a fair bit.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks for his knee, as well as Reynolds. Reynolds is... I don't know whether Reynolds was a hamstring or something. Groin.
Groin.
Okay, yep. So 2 weeks or whatever, 1 to 2 weeks.
But it's also the same groin issue that he's had forever. So.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. So re-niggling or flaring up again. And then on top of that, they lost Walsh relatively early on to a head clash, which resulted in a broken cheekbone or fractured cheekbone, I think it is. So that's easily 4 to 6 weeks there for him. So... very big shake-up mid-game, and a lot of I guess, switching up they had to do, but probably not too bad in the sense they had Mam there, which Mam, I think, did quite well. I think Mam filled in pretty good, and they're pretty lucky they've got him plug and play sitting on the bench at the moment.
But they've got no Walters, eh?
Yeah, Walters is the tough one where
Walters is still coming back from ACL, right?
Yeah, he'll be out for a bit longer yet, yeah. This is where having him there would have been prime, because they could have, again, another plug-and-play player that did very well last year when he was under the same circumstances. Brought results and showed some results. Unfortunately, they're without him, so that's where I think out of necessity we probably see Duffy get a bit of a go with the Broncos next week. Which,
I guess by default it has to be Duffy. Right?
Yeah, up against his old club there, the Cowboys, for the Derby. I think it could be a very big game. But yeah, the Broncos unfortunately just struck with injury, whereas a bit like Rabbitohs, as we see with the Rabbitohs regularly. Just a lot of their key men out. I know they got Haas back, and Haas kind of had a pretty quiet game to his standard, but he was coming back after that shoulder issue, so I don't know if you can expect a whole lot more just yet. But very, very, I would say maybe lucky to come away with a decent win is probably how I'd put it.
Definitely, because I mean that's going to be a hard road now.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't really get like a proper breather until round 13,
and then it's like Origin time too. Origin time, so yeah, it's going to be tough for them. They're going at least a month to month and a half without their full squad, so full strength squad. So tough one for the Broncos coming up, but just getting away with the win there, despite Katoni not being able to kick a dog in the guts. Yeah.
Poor fella.
Yeah, poor fella. And I don't know.
Missing one right in front too.
I think he missed a couple that were pretty close.
he missed a few that were close.
Yeah.
There was one that was right in front that he managed to get.
Yeah.
But the one that was like just probably
just
slightly off to the side, and he got him.
Shanked it. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure he's going to be having a lot of practice this week, because I don't know who they've got to kick otherwise.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say Hunt, but he's gone too.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that Hunt didn't do the kicking anyway. But then after the game, when they broke that he made, he got an MCL, then it made sense.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Sunday's games, though, yesterday's games, we'll jump onto. So Sharks versus the Warriors, and Sharks finally getting a bit of redemption here, albeit it was a away game for the Warriors, so a little bit tough for them. But this is one of the more exciting games of the round, I think. It was almost try for a point there, until Sharks just got it over them toward the end and started putting a couple on.
Trindle,
yeah, Trindle. Why can I not think of their fullback's name? Will Kennedy. Yeah,
that dummy he threw was disgusting.
Went straight through. Yeah, very dirty. And the Warriors are still looking for the ball there, but it very, very good.
Poor Dallin.
KL as well. KL Iro just coming back to a little bit of form. He's been somewhat quiet this season so far, but yeah, I think it was insane. Even Hines had a really good game, sort of showing what he can do. Where we see him have those little lapses sometimes where he goes a bit quiet or just sort of a bit more passive. He steps back and just kicks the ball or whatever. But seeing him run the ball and make some line breaks was crazy too. On the other side of the fence, though, obviously you had the Warriors, Metcalf and Boyd again with their combo coming together a little bit better this week. It seemed like to me. I don't know if anything else stood out to you there with those two, albeit I think Metcalf came off with a hamstring injury toward the end. So.
Still not gelling.
Yeah, you don't like it as much.
I don't know what they're gonna. I mean, look, the answer is obviously a little bit easier now that Metcalf's injured again. But yeah, I'm still not sold on it. But they do get Chanel Harris-Tavita back next week, I think.
Yeah.
So that will make things a bit more. I think that, as sad as it is for me to say, because Metcalf he was killing everyone last year, killing everyone. As sad as it is for me to say, I think they have to go with Tanner and Chanel for the year. I just don't think they're going to be able to find a way to make either the halves combos work, either back to front rather. I think Tanner is the answer right now because that's what they've played with and that's what they practice with. I don't think Metcalf's had enough time to practice with his injury over the offseason by the looks of things, because nothing just seems to gel very well with them.
I think for me anyway, what I noticed was it worked a lot better than the week prior, which again, you probably don't want to be testing it out in games as such.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think it is improving for sure. But yeah, definitely with you there in that it's probably going to take a bit longer for it to come off or be as effective as it can be for sure. But just the things we would have seen or would have been more characteristic of them the first couple rounds. I mean, Lecker, again, probably not used to his full potential, or we're not seeing him do as much, is another one, a big one for me, I think.
I think that's because he needs an active runner to give him good service.
Yeah.
I think Metcalf has been the difference in that way. Metcalf's not really naturally passing it to him. It's more of a coming off Chanel, or it's coming off a long kick or a long pass from Tanner.
Yeah.
I just think that they've got better things practiced or in place through Tanner Boyd and Chanel, and that it shows that their offseason was definitely based more around them and had nothing to do with Metcalf, which is a bit unfortunate, really, because Metcalf is a fantastic player, and he when he's on, he is on. He will tear teams apart. But yeah, I think you've got to go with Tanner. I really do. I think he's earned it too, really.
Yeah. I mean, he stepped in and was a great fill-in toward the end of last year for sure, albeit just sort of a bit too late, or their run sort of came to an end, unfortunately. But started the year firing for sure. Only missing out by 14 points there, so not a massive one in the end. But still showing what a force the Warriors are to start the season this year anyway. So we'll see what happens next week there. I think Metcalf is only supposedly a few weeks I'm not too sure on
3 or 4.
the grade of it. Yeah, exactly. So not a massive thing, but yeah, if they can get Chanel straight back in, or he can walk back in next week as well anyway, then it will be very handy. And the last game, or the second last game rather, Sunday's last game, I should say, was Knights versus the Raiders. And this one, I don't know if I should be surprised at this point, but I still was a bit. Tipped the Raiders because I thought, geez, they can't be going that bad. They've got to make some sort of turnaround or some strike back this season, and this was going to be the game to do it, if any. But again, the Knights should have been a bit more disjointed than they were, is probably what I'll say. And they've just, I don't know, come out and just fired like almost all positions, all guns blazing, right?
Yeah. I think this is really, really just showing the lack of leadership at the Raiders right now, I think.
Yeah.
And Ricky even touched on it slightly after the game. Me and my senior players need to get back together and really try and work some stuff out here, because that's where I think we're going wrong. And I would tend to agree. You look at them on the field and they've just got no sense of leadership. Like I mentioned it with the Manly game earlier. They are missing Fogarty so bad, so bad. Like, he may not be the most all-staff like halfback out of all the clubs. He may not be the biggest point scorer or anything like that. But one thing he can do is he can steer a ship.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe the Raiders are missing right now. I believe they're missing the ship being steered, which is truly unfortunate because they've got such star power in their roster, Their star power amongst their roster is just ridiculous. They have incredible players across the entire left to right of the field,
Quite a solid forward pack. I mean,
their forward pack is unprecedented.
Go with anyone, yeah.
I think the only weak part of their forward pack is probably Horse, but their entire forward pack is amazing. Their spine is ridiculous. Sanders is probably underplaying, in my opinion. Underperforming, in my opinion. I thought we would see a fair bit more, but this is what I mean. I think he's just got a little bit too much on his shoulders, and he needs to probably take more of a backseat and just play his own game and follow, as opposed to trying to be that stand-up half. That's where I think, they need a leadership turn for sure.
Yeah, which is sort of tough too, I guess, because I don't know if Strange is a right fit for 7 as well. It's tough. I'm not too sure what they do there, but because he's a great ball runner and a great 6, and he can kick all right too. But yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle with that there. I mean, they're pretty fortunate as well in that they had like Noah Martin come through debut, and he's been killing it ever since the first game of the round. So the team built around them is strong. They do have a solid team. It's almost a bit of like a Cowboys issue there, where on paper they should be absolutely killing it, but they're just a bit disjointed.
Their execution is very poor.
Yeah, tragic, very, very poor. And it's making it hard for them. But again, not to take anything away from the Knights there at all, because where they're sitting, they're sort of almost not the opposite, but they should be a bit in all sorts in that the injuries they're dealing with at the moment. They've sort of got people filling in spots, but
and they're still killing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to really say as well, Sandon Smith.
Yeah, very useful. What a buy!
I think you're really, really sweating if you're Dylan Brown. I think you're sweating profusely. I think there's a chance that he gets fit, and he still doesn't come back and play in the halves. I genuinely do. Sandon Smith has stood up and he's played an incredible game since he's come on, really. I've loved watching him, and I think he works incredibly well with Sharp, like ridiculously well with Sharp. I don't know what they're gonna. It's, in my opinion, it might be time for Dylan to look at, I don't know, the UK or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. First year into a $10 million 10-year contract. So the Knights are probably hamstrung a bit there with that. But I think you're right in that he'll at least be kept honest there, where you're gonna see Sandon Smith on the bench regardless in 14. Like either way, he's going to be in the team. But if Dylan Brown's not performing, then it might be a bit of a, hey, buddy, you may be 14 sort of thing if you don't put your finger out or whatever.
Like, I actually think it's more likely to see him in a 14 jersey because Sandin is he's been so incredible. I think they need to really go up against a very, very hard team, like a really top contender, and see how he plays.
Yeah.
And then make some of those like harder decisions, I think. But because I feel like they haven't really had like a proper top tier contender yet.
Yeah. I mean, Raiders probably should have been that, really. But after, that's right, the start to the season, it's been less than. So, and again, not to take anything away from the Knights, but they've been very good dealing with what they have with the team they've got at the moment. So it's a far cry anyway. I mean, the Adam O'Brien run Knights or led Knights a year or 2 years ago, even with Gamble and whatnot, all the other players they had there probably would not have done as well in the face of what they have. So
yeah, 100%.
Big ups to them there. But not skip that too far because we still do have that game today, so we'll touch on that briefly. The Eels, the Easter Monday classic of Eels versus the Tigers there.
So 50-50.
Yeah, very well could be. I don't know. I think the Eels might just
want Eels this.
Yeah, they might just scrape this one, get the win on this. Tigers, again, another one similar to the Knights where they probably shouldn't be doing as well as they are with their main, or one of their main men out anyway, and I think Dewey struggling with whatever he's got going on. Leg injuries or leg problems anyway, but they just seem to keep stringing it together and keep stringing a solid performance together, even if they're just, not winning or whatever. They're doing quite well and taking it to teams. So, I mean, this is the first time in a while we've seen Tigers sitting in fifth 5 rounds in, right? Usually they're sitting around the bottom 4 or bottom 6 at least to start the season and having to fight to get back up the ladder. But, yeah, something crazy there at the Tigers at the moment. So,
lucky for the Eels too, it's at Comback because Leichhardt is incredibly hard to play right now with so many fans just hyped over how well the Tigers are doing.
Yeah, and we've seen. I mean, the Cowboys was a perfect example of it. Just how tough it is to go there. And,
you can't even focus; they're so loud
to piece a performance together. Yeah. So very good from the Tigers, but I don't know. I think the Eels may just get it done. Moses and Pezzett coming together a bit better than the start of the season. I think it's slowly getting somewhere. The only thing now with Iongi out for, I think it's quite a while actually. He had a knee or an ankle injury or something. It's a fair few weeks anyway. You've got Joash Papali coming in.
I'm still happy with that though.
Yeah, it's an all right replacement considering.
That's fantastic, I think.
It's going to be, whether it's going to affect too much, I don't know there, because Joash has been in and around the side, and he's probably really who's going to come back into that 6 once Pezzett goes next year anyway, unless something else happens. But I think I think they're probably just set to get it done. Myself, their edges are quite solid there. I think Katoga or whatever has been going quite well.
Jack Williams is so hard to contain,
and Jack Williams as well. Very, very good utility, very good forward, I think as well. Very, very handy. I don't know. I'm seeing it as much as I probably don't want it to be the case. I'm seeing the Eels probably even just scrape away with the win in this one, and mainly I think they are just very, very lucky to have Moses there. So
definitely
be Eels for me on this one.
I've got Eels as well.
Sweet. We'll round out the Easter weekend round with that one, Easter long weekend round, but jump on to next week's and get into the tips. Dogs up against Panthers is the first game of the round on Thursday night, and I don't even know if it needs to be spoken about, but despite it being at a core, I don't think anyone in their right mind would be tipping anything but Panthers. Yeah, it's hard, and it's hard in any instance to tip against the Panthers, but just with how things are going at the moment, I don't think Jerry being picked is going to turn the tide at all.
You know what? I think this is actually a masterstroke timing. I think he'll pick Jerry just to use him as a scapegoat for the loss.
Possibly, yeah. It's just tough. The Dogs are just dealing with a bit much. without their captain now, so that's tough.
I think dealing with or without, they have no chance against Penrith.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for them. And obviously positional switches and that, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I don't think it's likely for the Dogs. Unfortunately, Dogs fans, Panthers probably a bit of a walk.
Probably going to put a line through you.
Yeah, unfortunately. So Panthers, I think, for both of us on that one. Friday's games, we'll jump onto 6 p.m. We've got the Dragons up against the Sea Eagles. Now, this one is probably, it's in Wollongong, so it's a Dragons home game again, but it's probably, the Dragons really need to show up and show something. If they don't, I mean, Manly prior, when Seabold was coaching him, you'd probably think it might be a Dragons game, or at least it would be close to. But with what Manly tossed up and what the Dragons tossed up, respectively, last week, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know who to pick. I still don't even know if I want to tip the Sea Eagles, but I think you really got her after what we've seen.
Yeah, look, I just don't think the Dragons are going to have any, like, I think even with Manly being embattled slightly,
no immediate answers.
Yeah, I just don't think the Dragons are going to have what it takes to actually put points on here.
Yeah.
You know, I think if Cows can hold them to 0, Manly will severely punish them.
Yeah, exactly. With the Travojevic boys firing and whatnot, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so I'll be tipping Manly in this one. Look, it might even only be just, and the Dragons might have a bit of a fight back, might show some sort of form, but yeah, I just can't see it being enough, unfortunately, for the Dragons fans, and unfortunately for Flano. I think he might still be shell-shocked after last week. The second game on Friday, big surprise, it's a Broncos home game, but it's the first derby, Cowboys-Broncos derby of the year down in Brisbane there. This one should be, I mean, the odds are pretty short on this one. There's not much between them because of everything that's gone on, I think, but geez, 7th up against 8th, I don't know. I'm obviously going Cowboys on it, but I think this could be a pretty close game.
I think it will be very tight.
Yeah.
But that said, I think Cows have got this for sure. I just think that Brisbane are now missing too much star power. I think we'll punish them.
Yeah, it's probably, for me, it's probably what I think is the issue with it, is we likely, or there is a chance of going in thinking it'll be a bit easier or easier than it should be. It should be easier than it is, sort of thing.
Oh, they'll still want to defend the house.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it is, say, Duffy debuting for him there, and Mam in the halves, those two, I don't think it's going to be that easy. They are, you're right, but it is going to be tough in that they are without Walsh. They're probably going to have to put, who played fullback for him when Walsh went off? We don't have a team list. Yeah, Arthur's went back there. So yeah, it'll be Arthur's probably playing fullback, you would think. I don't know.
So Arthur's fullback.
Karapani probably jumps back onto the wing, or Mariner even onto the wing, and someone else into centre. I don't know. But
who's in the halves?
It'll be Mam and Duffy.
Mam and Duffy. So Mam and Duffy.
Kobe
and it'll
Black.
Be, wing will definitely be Mariner then.
Yeah, so Marin either pushes back out, or Karapani maybe comes back in, back into the side. I don't know. It'll be something. They've got utility there to do, and not bad picks either. But yeah, I think you're right. It will just throw things up in the air a little bit. Not having Hunt there makes it a bit hard as well, because what does Pakes play 90 minutes? Does Moser get picked? Does Moser get to go off the bench? You know what I mean?
Moser's still injured, I thought, isn't he?
Possibly. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look. We'll check on
team lists are going to be so good.
Yeah,
team lists are going to be very interesting.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to see what eventuates there. But yeah, that's my one concern, is they just take it a bit too lightly.
Too lightly, yeah.
And we all know what it's like going down there and playing in Brisbane at Suncorp. So I'll go Cows, but on that one,
definitely Cows.
Saturday's games, Rabbitohs up against the Raiders, and geez, I'd love to. This is over in Perth too. These are the couple games in Perth on Saturday. I'd love to be tipping the Raiders really, because they should be the ones coming away with the win on this.
I just got no faith, bro.
Yeah, the Raiders are the faders, back to being the faders at the moment. So, and
burnt me too many times, bro.
The way in that this could be the game where Rabbitohs is the common sense decision, but Raiders still somehow get the win, but. I don't care. I'll throw the tip away. I can't lose another one.
I can't lose another Raiders tip, bro. Yeah, I really can't.
Can't in good faith give them the benefit of the doubt and get shit on again. I think just with how disjointed they are, Rabbitohs are just sort of in a bit of form at the moment. Again, talking about Humphreys and Walker, back to how good they were when Troll was out for a little while there. I think Troll and whoever else. They had injuries or had dramas, so yeah, I think Rabbitohs have got that one pretty easy. Second Saturday game, Sharks versus the Roosters. This is another one I think set to probably be a pretty decent game. Roosters starting a bit tragic as always, but sort of I think starting to find a bit of footing. Sharks another one you just can't seem to. They should win, but they just don't seem to be able to put it away. But I think I've probably still got to go with the Sharks, right? After what we've seen the last 2 weeks at least.
See, this is my 50-50. I'm actually going to go Roosters on this one.
Yep.
The one thing that the Sharks do really, really well right now is that left edge. That left edge is so good.
Potent, yeah.
I just have a feeling the defense on that left edge... or rather the right edge for the Roosters, is going to deal with it.
Yep.
I think they're going to deal with it.
Yep.
Which means they've got to then look elsewhere for points.
Yep.
And I don't know if they're going to be able to stack that up.
Yep.
I have a feeling Roosters can win this one.
Yep. And I don't know whether it's this week or not, but I'm hearing the Victor Radley self-imposed by the club's suspension or match ban is being halved or whatever, so I think that means he's not too far off of coming back or being able to be selected. So wouldn't surprise me if we see his name pop up in and around the lock position there, or at least the reserve position. And the last game on Saturday, this one is in Melbourne. I thought they did all three at Optus Stadium, but never mind. Last game of the round, Melbourne versus the Warriors. This is a classic matchup. In Melbourne there, and God, it's anyone's game. The odds are pretty blown out on this for what we've seen from both teams the last couple of weeks. But geez, this is going to be close. I'm almost tempted to pick the Warriors.
I am going to go Warriors.
Yeah,
I think I'm predicting Chanel Harris-Tavita back.
Yep.
And they're going to make it a pretty clean performance with the halves.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I'm going to go Waz.
Yep, and Storm just battling to find some sort of cohesion or something, I don't know, defensively and whatnot, and just get some attack together, some potent attack together. Might be a bit hard for Warriors, who, if they do, they get back to how they started the season with those two in the halves, and they can just replicate that. Will make it difficult, unfortunately, for Melbourne. And Sunday's games, we've got the Eels and Titans at CommBank Stadium there. Titans looking close. I think this one may possibly depend a bit on what happens today with the Eels. I'd still probably be likely to tip the Eels only just otherwise, but if the Eels get shellacked today by the Tigers take them to town, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether they've got the confidence or not, because the Titans, like you said, they seem close, or they're at least... Building and having a bit of a go. It might be the game they need, possibly, to get a bit. But as it stands, I think I might tip the Eels.
I'm going to tentatively hold Eels for this one as well.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I think if they drop today's game, the Titans are going to actually have a chance to pull a sneaky one out on them.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
I'll see what team lists look like after today, but I've got Eels tentatively right now.
Yep, nice. And last game of the round, Tigers versus the Knights. Geez, this is a tough one. This will be another close one.
This will actually be an awesome game.
Should be a good game, you're right. Again, much depending probably on today's results. I think the Tigers would probably come out still Not too bad, but the Knights have just been too good considering the last couple of weeks. I think Brown and Ponga are still, or at least Brown, who's meant to come back closer or earlier rather, is still a week or two away, so he might not be there. But
this one's kind of a wait for Timless as well because Luai may be back.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't think Luai was that far off as well, which is going to boost the Tigers for sure. I think with the Knights anyway, all they're really losing is Best. Bradman Best is out for 3 or 4 weeks, so that may make that centre position a little bit contentious. But yeah, depending on whether Luai's picked and how today's game goes, I think the Knights may be able to take it to them still. So I'll tip the Knights in this one for now. Because anytime I've tipped against them the last 3 weeks, they've absolutely killed it. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tigers on this one.
Yep.
Now, if I do see Luai in the team list, I'll probably keep Tigers.
Yeah.
But if I don't see Luai in the team list, I'll probably change that.
Knights. Yep. Yeah, nice. Alrighty, sweet. That's about it. We will jump on to the try of the week or try of the fortnight or whatever. There's been some decent ones, but what did you have lined up for this week?
Look, if Cleary kept his mouth shut and he if he kept his mouth shut and he took ownership for the little chip in off the upright for I think it was Lindsay Smith who got it.
Yeah. Yep.
If he took ownership of that, I'd give it to him because that was phenomenal. That was fantastic. I loved it. I hate saying that. It hurt me so much to say that. But no, I think this week it's going to go to Trell. It's going to go to Trell with the amazing cartwheel. He just hit the best line running ball of his life. He's gone head over, and it didn't matter because he's just an acrobat and got it down. So, and normally we're normally talking about wingers doing this. Seeing Trell do it, it was pretty cool. So good on Trell.
The bunny dropping an Easter miracle on Easter weekend. Trell with a try to remember. We'll have a look at the NRL Fantasy Player Buy of the Round or Player of the Round this week, and talking about the Tigers and the form they're in. I think it's got to be Alex Twal. Now, Twali, we've seen the last couple of years sort of have a bit of an uptick in minutes and form, I think, albeit not a prominent try scorer, unfortunately, still. This year, I think the way Benji's using him, or has thus far at least, it's almost like he is taking Terrell's spot from last year. So Terrell was used like a bit of a battering ram as such, or he'd come on and play the big minutes. He'd have a lot of offloads and whatnot, a lot of run meters. This year, Terrell seems to be being given a bit more of a break. So just from a fantasy perspective, at least, you're losing a few points there. He's still up in the 50s and whatnot, but we're not seeing those 70s, not seeing those 70s we would have seen last year. And Twal all of a sudden being given the more minutes in the rotation, probably a little bit more faith from Benji or a bit more trust in him there for that. Give Terrell a break and Alex a bit more time on the field, and he's making the most of it. He's 655k at the moment, so not as cheap as you probably could have got him 2 weeks ago, just before these massive scores were put on, but still not someone out of the price range sort of thing. If you've got someone like Haas, or you've sold someone like Haas and you got a bit of money there, you want to invest it into someone who's gonna make a bit of money and still score a bit, Twal's probably the guy at the moment. So yeah, we'll see today as well what sort of points he puts on anyway. That's probably about it though for that. I mean, we sort of touched on most of the news of the last fortnight. Seabold being sacked, unfortunately. So unfortunately for Seabold, fortunately for Manly, the scourge of Seabold is gone. Broncos and Manly are both cheering and patting each other on the back, consoling each other for what happened in his tenure.
Definitely a bit of an "I told you so" moment.
Yeah, a little bit of. That's right. Yeah, and yeah, talking about the Broncos, obviously pretty big injury news. We touched on that as well. Walsh out for four plus weeks with his cheekbone. Hunt out for six to 8, or at least 6 with his knee, and Reno a couple weeks with that groin injury. So yeah, a lot of injuries going around at the moment. And yeah, it's just making it a lot of leg injuries as well. So another year, another season of it. And the other one, I think we probably didn't really get to touch on it too much last week. I think it might have happened just before we did the podcast. But Osako, the signing for Melbourne, the signing news for Melbourne there.
This was kept so quiet.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty under wraps. And I mean, they lost out on Lomax, but talking about Warbrick going to the Warriors next year, they've got a good replacement in Osako there to step in. So prominent try scorer and goal kicker as well. Just adds another feather to their cap there. I think they've got someone pretty handy. And geez, I think Osako, for a player that was at the Broncos and then really trying to redeem his career at the Titans, had an all right run and then sort of just disappeared again. Having a resurgence at the Dolphins, getting given another opportunity and absolutely killing it at the Dolphins, it's huge. So yeah, I think Melbourne are done pretty well to lock him up there. So
smart play too.
Definitely.
Makes their roster so much more multi-dimensional.
Yeah, a lot more versatile for sure. But I think that's about it. There's not too much other major news to touch on. I don't think was there anything else you had for the fortnight?
The other one was Taylon May as well. Taylon May is one we're also watching to see if he gets an early comeback as well.
Yeah, with his shoulder, I think was his issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Now, I believe both Taylon and Jerome are touted to be round 8.
Yep.
But they're also touted to be potentially coming back earlier. So
yep.
We'll definitely have to watch team lists. I think if they're announced in the team list to come back early, then might be a Tigers over Knights one. But
Yep. Very nice. All right. Well, with that, we shall leave you for this week for the end of the Easter long weekend. Hope you had a good Easter, got a lot of chocolate, and watched a lot of football. But until next week, thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.